A boy emperor? Not quite yet. Claudius, born in Lugdunum, modern-day Lyon, France, would eventually ascend to the throne of Rome. It was 10 BC, a period when Rome's influence spanned vast territories. Few could have predicted that this infant, born into the esteemed Julio-Claudian dynasty, would lead such a remarkable life. His family was among the most prominent in Roman society. His parents were Drusus and Antonia Minor. His grandmother was Octavia, the sister of the illustrious Augustus. However, Claudius's childhood was fraught with difficulties. He faced numerous health challenges that set him apart, and society's understanding was limited. He walked with a limp, his speech was often unclear, and he experienced tremors. The hardships he endured as a young boy in ancient Rome were considerable. Even his own family subjected him to ridicule. His mother cruelly likened him to an unfinished creation of the gods, yet Claudius possessed an insatiable thirst for knowledge. He immersed himself in the study of history, law, and literature. Claudius emerged as a scholar, demonstrating that true strength lies within. Life in ancient Rome, particularly for Claudius, was fraught with challenges. In a society that revered physical perfection with its strong soldiers and eloquent orators, Claudius, burdened with physical impairments, did not conform to these ideals. He was frequently marginalized, deemed weak and unsuitable for public life. The pain of being disregarded, of not being taken seriously, was a constant companion. Yet Claudius did not succumb to despair. He channeled his intellect into mastering Roman law and history. Immersing himself in literature, he became a respected historian, authoring a comprehensive history of the Carthaginians. In a world that often valued physical prowess over intellectual achievement, he stood as a man of letters. Despite his intellectual acumen, his family kept him away from the public eye. They viewed his disabilities as a source of disgrace, a blemish on their noble lineage. The injustice he faced was profound. Nevertheless, Claudius endured. He recognized that his path to greatness lay not in military conquests or political oratory, but in the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. And in time he would indeed prove his worth. The Julio-Claudian dynasty, a complex and intricate lineage, intrigue, murder, and power struggles were ever present. Claudius observed these events firsthand. His family was a nexus of ambition and ruthlessness. His uncle, Tiberius, adopted him, yet Claudius remained distant from true power. Then came Caligula, his nephew, who ascended to the throne. Caligula was a figure of a different nature, a tyrant known for his cruelty and excesses. During this period, Claudius maintained a low profile. He understood the peril of being too close to power, especially under Caligula's rule. Yet fate has a way of intervening. In 41 AD, Caligula was assassinated. The ensuing chaos was unimaginable. The Roman Empire was left leaderless, vulnerable to upheaval. Remarkably, it was Claudius, the underestimated and overlooked, who was thrust into the spotlight. Picture this. The Praetorian Guard, the elite soldiers tasked with protecting the emperor, discovered Claudius hiding behind a curtain following Caligula's assassination. Claudius was filled with fear, anticipating the worst. Yet, unexpectedly, they proclaimed him emperor. The Praetorian Guard saw in Claudius an opportunity to exert influence, to have a ruler they could control. Claudius was initially hesitant. Who could blame him? He had spent his life in the shadows, more at ease with books than with legions. But Claudius was also pragmatic. He recognized this as his opportunity. He accepted the purple robes, the emblem of imperial authority, and thus Claudius the scholar became Claudius the emperor. The Senate, composed of the patrician elite, was astonished. They attempted to resist, aiming to install one of their own. However, the Praetorian Guard stood resolute. With the support of the army, Claudius outmaneuvered the Senate, solidifying his position as the ruler of Rome. The unlikely emperor had ascended. Upon assuming the purple toga, Claudius demonstrated his true capabilities. He was not merely a scholar, he was an astute administrator and a competent leader. Claudius reformed the Roman legal system, striving for greater fairness. He enhanced the grain supply, ensuring sustenance for even the poorest citizens. Claudius was a ruler who genuinely cared for his people, and indeed he was a prolific builder. He constructed aqueducts, engineering marvels that brought fresh water to Rome. He built roads, expanding the empire's infrastructure and connecting its vast territories. Claudius even drained Lake Fucinus to create additional farmland. He understood that a strong empire required a solid foundation, both figuratively and literally. Claudius was not content with merely building within Rome's existing borders. He expanded the empire, incorporating Thrace and Mauritania into its dominion. Yet his most audacious campaign was still on the horizon. Claudius, the scholar-turned-emperor, set his sights on a distant island, Britannia. His ambition knew no bounds. Britannia, a land of formidable warriors and enigmatic druids, had long resisted Roman domination. Julius Caesar had attempted to subdue the island but ultimately failed to secure a lasting conquest. Emperor Claudius, however, was resolute in his ambition to bring Britannia under Roman control. In 43 AD, he initiated a comprehensive invasion. His generals, Aulus Plautius and Vespasian, who would later ascend to the throne as emperor, led the Roman legions across the perilous waters of the English Channel. The Britons fought valiantly, but the discipline and military strength of the Roman forces were insurmountable. After intense battles, Claudius himself arrived in Britannia, entering the captured city of Camulodunum, known today as Colchester. The conquest of Britannia was a significant achievement for Claudius. It demonstrated his ambition, military capability, and the extent of Roman power. Claudius, once underestimated and ridiculed, had proven himself a true Roman conqueror. Claudius's marital history is a significant aspect of his life. He entered into matrimony 4 times, each relationship marked by its own complexities. His first 2 marriages concluded in divorce, a common occurrence in that era. His third wife, Messalina, was notorious for her scandalous behavior and insatiable desires. Messalina frequently tested the limits of acceptable conduct. She allegedly plotted against Claudius, even conducting a public wedding ceremony with her lover during his absence. The audacity of her actions was unprecedented. Upon discovering her betrayal, Claudius ensured that Messalina's fate was sealed. She was executed, leaving Claudius a widower once more. Subsequently, Agrippina the Younger, his niece, entered his life. Agrippina was ambitious, intelligent, and ruthless. She strategically positioned herself to become Claudius's 4th wife. Agrippina had a son, Nero, from a previous marriage, and she was resolute in her ambition to see him ascend to the throne. Claudius's reign was not without its challenges and dark undertones. There were persistent rumors of plots, poison, and clandestine activities. Recall Agrippina? It is said that she harbored ambitions for the throne. And the obstacle in her path? Her own husband, Claudius. In the year 54 AD, Claudius met an untimely death. The official account? He succumbed to a poisoned mushroom. However, many suspected foul play, with Agrippina being the prime suspect. Did she orchestrate her husband's death to secure the throne for her son, Nero? This question has persisted through the ages. With Claudius gone, Nero, then a mere teenager, ascended to the position of emperor. Agrippina had achieved her objective, but her victory was fleeting. A few years later, Nero, wary of his mother's ambitions, ordered her execution. The Julio-Claudians were indeed adept at maintaining a dramatic and tumultuous legacy. Claudius, the stuttering scholar who ascended to the throne, left a complex legacy. Some historians emphasize his physical limitations, depicting him as a weak and easily influenced ruler. However, others offer a different perspective. They recognize a shrewd administrator, a capable leader who expanded the empire, reformed the legal system, and strengthened Rome. Claudius may not have been the most physically imposing emperor, but he possessed a sharp intellect and a deep understanding of the complexities of governance. He challenged the prejudices of his era, demonstrating that physical limitations did not equate to intellectual inferiority. When reflecting on Claudius, remember this. He was more than a stammering, awkward figure. He was a builder, a conqueror, and a man who defied expectations to leave a lasting impact on history. Quite an achievement for someone who was never destined to be emperor.